You ever listen to K. Billy's Super Sounds of the 70s? It's my personal favorite.
Three Films and a Podcast has no claim of ownership on any film footage used in this episode. All film footage is owned in its entirety by the copyright holders and is used solely with the intent of film criticism, commentary, and education under fair use law. And just like every car in Too Fast, Too Furious, this podcast contains spoilers. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome back to Three Films and a Podcast, the show where three friends challenge each other to broaden their cinematic horizons through a series of themed rounds. My name is Tyler Beck, coming to you from Portland, Oregon, and with me, as always, is Matt Weiler down in Pleasant Grove.
Hello.
I feel bad because I feel like Matt has pressure on him now.
I know. We have the expectation.
All I have to do is say hi.
Yeah. But it's just so good every time. And to follow that up, we have Ben Lawhorn in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Hello.
For those of you,
I'm not going to try.
Can.
I really
can.
was thinking about I'm fucking dying.
Yeah,
fun to do, but obviously
that would have been sweet.
I do it
later. Well, for those of you new to the show, first of all, welcome to our movie club. Let me be the first to say hello to you. And what began as a club between just the three of us is now a club that you are a part of, along with a community of movie lovers around the globe. And I do mean that literally. It turns out we have people listening from like Nepal and South Africa, which is really cool.
And Kenya, shout out.
And Kenya, shout out to Kenya. So we're certainly happy that you're here and that you've decided to join us. And while we're at it and while we're talking about the movie club, why don't you go ahead and tell your friends about us? Help us out, would you? We're here doing stuff for you. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube or wherever else people find podcasts, we'd be forever grateful for your help in helping spreading the word. And don't forget to check out our shop at threefilmspod.com for some merch and information on how to become a more invested supporter through our Patreon support options. And before we go any further, and in the spirit of Movie Club, I want to introduce our very special guest for today's episode, the Watch Party MVP herself in the flesh, Ashley Hutchins.
Hi.
Welcome back, Ashley. Thanks again for joining us. I hear that you're going to have some very special, very poignant takes on today's discussion. I hear you're the expert. So
that's what was promised. Yeah. We have a thesis that's about to be read to us.
Please don't.
All right. Well, after we put you on the spot and we've taken care of all of our housekeeping, and I hate to bring down the mood, but I have some really bad news.
What happened?
So, I mean, we try to just put light and sunshine into the world through this podcast, but sometimes life throws a curveball, and every now and then the heist just doesn't quite go according to plan. You end up with a gut shot, So when keep that in mind, and just keep in mind when you hear this terrible news for you that I have, you're gonna be okay. All right, say the words. You're gonna be okay. Say the words. You're gonna be okay. Say the goddamn words. You're gonna be okay. All right? Is everybody ready?
I'm so excited to edit that.
I was trying to keep in mind my mic presence there, and I was very nervous to roll that bit.
You did great.
Perfect.
My headphones cut out. Everything kind of went weird on me on my end. But anyways, and if you haven't quite guessed yet, I regret to... Alex is texting me from the other room.
Are you okay? You don't look like a doctor.
Well, I regret to inform you all that we've lost the Reservoir Dogs. And I don't mean they've been captured, and I don't mean that they've been killed. I mean that literally every single known copy of the movie, whether it be physical or digital, it's been lost.
It's just gone?
It's just straight up gone, man. And I don't know what happened, but for some reason, the four of us have been charged with recasting the movie. So we're going to perform an emergency recast. So that's right.
I feel like you're a little winded from that long walk in. You really got her on that one.
My dogs are barking.
What do you mean? I'm trying to understand, Tyler. It's gone.
Well, stick with me. Yeah, I mean, you would think it'd be on a server somewhere, or there'd be a reel hidden away somewhere, but it's gone. The Reservoir Dogs is gone. The 1992 cult classic film directed by Quentin Tarantino, the one that landed him on the map, the movie that put him into the zeitgeist. It's gone.
I'm gonna throw up.
It's lost. It's not great, but we're here to fix it. We're gonna recast it, and that's so. Yeah, and we brought the expert Ms. Ashley Hutchins in to help us out with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, but in all seriousness, in the in his recent press tour for his book, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which apparently is a book and a movie, I just learned recently. QT himself mentioned he had possibly wanted to reboot the Reservoir Dogs for his famed 10th and final film. 10th film, right? That's his...
Yeah, which would really be like his 12th or something, because he considers the Kill Bills one, even though there's 2 movies. I don't know.
He's a weird guy.
Whatever.
But thankfully,
Quentin, if you're listening, please like and subscribe.
Yeah, please save the arc light.
And also, thank you for shooting that idea down yourself. Apparently. I didn't hear the podcast, but he apparently poo-pooed it. But he is considering a play version of the movie. So we thought it would be fun to run through and recast the film that put our boy Quentin on the map. So the deal here is there's obviously 4 of us here today. And we're going to be redrafting the 8 main characters. And in a little bit, we'll figure out the order of the recast and all that. But first, let's chat a little bit about the Reservoir Dogs and Mr. Tarantino. And I'm going to start with Ashley. What was your first experience with any Tarantino film?
I think I was exposed to a soundtrack before any actual movies. My dad really liked it, and he had the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. So that one, and then like hearing, like, it was the soundtrack where they intercut with dialogue. So in between songs, they'd be like, "I love you, pumpkin. I love you, honey bunny," and like,
you're like,
I'm like, what is this? And where can I find it?
Do you remember the first time you saw Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
Bringing up the painful stuff out of the gate. I love it.
No, I just feel like it was, it kind of fell into the category of like high school dudes are like, "Hey, you want to come over and watch a movie?" And it was like either Reservoir Dogs or Fight Club. Yeah. And so that's kind of like my first experience with it. But then I like grew to appreciate it for what it is instead of just some like 17-year-old who thinks he's.
That reminds me of that Pen 15 episode where they're all watching Wild Things.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
And when you edit that, I need you to key into my face because I'm like completely left out of that conversation.
I love inside jokes. Love to be a part of one someday.
I never got into Pen 15.
Oh,
sorry, Tyler.
I have a blank stare on my face when you guys are talking about that. Yeah, I mean, I was that guy inviting people over to watch Reservoir Dogs, except for, I guess in reality, it was my friend Corey. He's the one that showed it to me. We watched it in his basement with a bunch of dudes, you know, classic sausage fest. My first personal experience was with Pulp Fiction. That's all I had seen up until I saw Reservoir Dogs. Ben, I know that you've been a Tarantino fan for as long as I've known you. And I don't actually know this, which is weird considering how long I've known you. But what about you? When was your first experience with Tarantino?
It was the same. It was high school, I believe. And it was Pulp Fiction. I think that's probably a lot of people's entry into Tarantino, you know, being his crowning achievement, so to speak. Yeah, that was just definitely the first one. And it's funny because when I think about that movie, I know we gave a shout out to Kenya earlier, but I think about our trip when we went there and we went to one of the guys' homes and he had like 5 DVDs and one of them was Pulp Fiction and we put it on and all of us had like been like climbing Mount Kenya and teaching rappelling and like you and I videoing it and everything like that. But everyone for some reason was able to like sit around and just like, it's like this communal experience. Like, let's all watch Pulp Fiction together.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows this, like everyone there liked it. Like it was just this weird bonding moment, but I still think about it whenever I think about Pulp Fiction. Yeah, Pulp Fiction was definitely my first, and Reservoir Dogs must have been my next, because I think I treated it the same as I treated like Christopher Guest after I watched Waiting for Guffman. It was like, okay, I need to see whatever else this guy has done because I loved this. And that's what it was after Pulp Fiction. I was like, I need, like, what else did this guy do? I think in between there, I actually may have watched Natural Born Killers, which is like, that's a intense movie.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know the last time I watched it. It's a lot. And that kind of confused me because I couldn't really separate the writer from the director in that.
Yeah.
The styles were just so different. But yeah, finally got around to Reservoir Dogs, and I just think it's fantastic. And I've mentioned on here before, but you were part of my senior film project
Sure was.
for school, and we were charged with writing a script, shooting, all that kind of stuff. And our teacher specifically said, do not just have a bunch of people sitting around a table talking. Like, that's not interesting unless you're Quentin Tarantino, you know? And of course, it's like, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have people sitting at a diner talking, like not so much of a rip off of Tarantino as much as like a screw you to my teacher. It's like, I'm just going to do this. I'm like, I know I'm not Tarantino. I know I can't write like that, but I want the challenge of this. So yeah, my senior project was definitely very heavily inspired by Reservoir Dogs.
And it's that stubborn obstinance that has drawn me to you and kept you so near dear to my heart.
Exactly.
I share it. I share that same sentiment with you. What about you, Matt? What's your experience with Tarantino?
So this was it was a classic. I had to have been 14 or 15. Classic rated R sleepover.
Yeah.
My Tyler Beck of my era invited me over, and actually, I mean, I'm going to shout out Jordan Vance. Probably doesn't listen to the pod, but Jordan.
Oh,
I love Jordan.
Jordan actually did a good job as a 14-year-old walking me through Tarantino, because on that sleepover, we started with Reservoir Dogs. We watched Pulp Fiction after, and then we got caught up. And at the time, there was one Kill Bill, and we watched the first Kill Bill. So he took me through, 3 big ones, and got me caught up on Quentin Tarantino. But I
feel like Jordan's a good shaman for that, to like walk you through middle school Matt, just take you through to Tarantino.
He cut straight to Tarantino.
He's perfect. Yeah, I like that. That seems very Jordan.
It's like, what, we like one same band? Let's watch Quentin Tarantino movies.
We're now best friends.
Actually, now that you say that, I think I did see Kill Bill before I saw Reservoir Dogs as well. Now that if I really think about it, but I mean, dude, that's so long ago. My memory is shot. I have no idea, but
it feels like one of the last ones people get to is Jackie Brown.
Yeah, that was mine. The last one I got to, which
is like, I mean, I get it, because it's not something that he wrote, or it's like from a different source material. But I mean, arguably, it's one of his best movies, if not like it's such a good film. I love Jackie Brown a lot.
And I swear it's just the name of the movie. It's not as like jumpy as Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction or all of his movie titles are like they really jump out at you. And Jackie Brown, it just kind of seems
softer.
like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be as cool, but it
doesn't have the violence that the others do that you expect from Tarantino.
Yeah. Which is a relief.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend it a lot, but I think on this side of the camera, you're also talking to people who absolutely love Death Proof, which I think a lot of people shit on or just don't like. But I think that's the greatest car chase movie ever. Like that's a great movie.
I love it.
But check out Death Proof and Jackie Brown if you haven't already.
Do it. Well, I think we should probably just get into this recast. I imagine
Let's do it.
It'll take a while. Before we get started, Ashley, recast expert, what was your strategy going into this, if any?
Well, my strategy going into this was, it came down to sort of the revival that Quentin Tarantino gifted to John Travolta. So that's what I kept in mind when putting my dream cast together. Just like, who haven't I seen in a long time? Who deserves more?
Okay.
Who's maybe some underrated, who hasn't been given a chance to really like flex those muscles. Yeah.
I like that.
I love that so much because it also reminds me of one of my favorite stories of my mom. Shout out Lauren, like and subscribe. I don't think you've ever listened to an episode, but maybe this is the first one.
Could you imagine if this was her first episode she listened to?
So much.
She gets to listen to me scream like a maniac and my terrible line reading at the beginning of this episode.
Good. But yeah, speaking of the revival, like my aunt and my grandma decided to go to the movies.
Oh.
I don't think they had anything in mind that they were going to see, but they got there and they're like, oh, let's go see the new John Travolta movie, Pulp Fiction, which I think is the biggest undersell and like yeah, it's just like you do not get this at all. I think she says like they didn't even make it inside like the apartment.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like? What? What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Oh,
Not
I'm
even
sure.
5 minutes. They were just like, all right, we're out of here.
So
Like,
hold on.
This is not.
Let's think about this real quick since we're talking about revivals and Travolta and public perception versus whatever. Who is the equivalent now? Like if they were to come out with a movie like Pulp Fiction would be completely surprising. I don't know if I can think of someone right
Freddie
away,
Prinze
but-
Jr.
Freddie.
Honestly, though, I
Ooh,
think
what about, like,
that's
Brendan
good
Fraser?
because
Yes.
Brendan Fraser would be awesome.
Amazing.
And he might be coming up later.
Both
But-
people I can't remember seeing in a while. Freddie Prinze and
Yeah,
Brendan
exactly. I
Fraser.
think Freddie Prinze is good because Travolta was like the 70s heartthrob, you know,
Yeah.
and then like 20 years later, he's in Pulp Fiction. And I think Freddie Prinze is a great cast for like the early 2000s, like all those teen movies that he was getting those roles. So I think, I mean, you may have been joking, but I actually think it's like a great answer. I think he'd be
I think
awesome
it's
for
great
that.
too. Yeah.
That's like, if you're like trying to make the parallel, I think that's it. I think it'd be so good.
Has this happened to someone recently? I can't think of anyone, but if you guys can, and otherwise we can just move on. But I feel like
RDJ in a way, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
sorta, yeah.
It's probably the biggest one
He
ever.
just had a big
I
gap.
guess that just
Winona
means-
Mhm.
with Stranger
okay.
Things.
yeah. I guess I'm just thinking specifically of the shock of going and expecting one thing and then
Mhm.
being like, what would also make your
Yeah.
mom walk out of the theater? She wouldn't walk out of Stranger Things necessarily, but
No.
No, I'm trying to think if her going to the Robin Williams movie 1 hour photo or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's
a good one.
This isn't what I thought.
My
Like,
mom got burned with that one too.
that'd be kind of rough. That's a great question. I think we should throw that out to the people and have
Yeah.
we
them
should. That's
send
a
their
great
answers because
question for the people.
yeah.
Matt, what was your strategy going into this recast here?
Oh man. So I struggled with this one, and I told you before we recorded that I haven't seen this movie since I saw it with Jordan Vance all those years ago.
Oh wow.
And this sounds like so soft and so like weak stomached of me, but like I have not been able to watch that scene, the torture scene from this movie.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. I can't get excited. I enjoyed the movie.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, I just feel like
Tough hang.
I've felt satisfied so far. Anyway, it's not like Ocean's 11 where like everybody I know has seen it. And
Yeah.
I obviously, if you're a Tarantino fan, you've dug into it. But there's even still a lot of people that I know that, you know, have seen Tarantino movies but still haven't seen Reservoir Dogs. And so it's not a movie where I'm recasting people that a ton of people are going to recognize, at least in my circle. And so my goal here was to make it as mainstream as possible. But still, I'm still hanging on to the integrity of the movie as much as possible too. I'm not just trying to marvelize, you know, this cast. I'm still trying to stay true to the characters, but I'm taking a very mainstream approach. And so I may be sacrificing a little bit there with maybe some better, you know, cast choices, but as much as I can keep the integrity, I'm going mainstream.
I like it. How does that compare to your strategy, Ben?
I have none. I just went to IMDb. No, it's the same. I like with Oceans, I was trying to, I put all their ages down because I wanted to try to cast it as close as I could there. So this one, you know, like Mr. Blue was a career, he was a criminal like for a long time, in and out of jail. He's a felon, all that kind of stuff. Then finally in 75, like he got out and started writing and like getting into movies and stuff. So like, okay, like who's an author that I think might be good in this role? Cause they don't have a ton of speaking points, but you know, like he put him there for a reason. Tarantino did. He was writing crime novels. So just trying to kind of think like that. And, you know, just the basic, who can I see like embodying the presence, I guess, of the person in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Who could fill those shoes, which is exactly obviously what we're doing. But I did also want to say real quick, I pulled up our director debut Rushmore, and you and I had Reservoir Dogs on there, Tyler. And it's like, I feel like that would end up on a lot of people's, because it's definitely his most raw movie, being his first, but it's still great, you know, for what it is, for being a first time filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, it immediately launched what ended up being like the career of someone who's, I mean, he changed the way we watch movies to some degree, for better or for worse. You know, I mean, he was instantly considered one of the better directors and a visionary and all these things.
Yeah.
So it's hard to come out of the gate like that and then to continue to knock it out of the park time and time again. Your strategy, Ben, both the joke strategy you made at the beginning and your actual strategy match mine completely, because I literally did just go to IMDb and I'm like, okay, who looks like this guy?
Actors.
Yeah, but I just similar to Matt, I like hadn't seen this movie in a long time. I planned on rewatching it. I couldn't do it. And then I didn't get as much time to prep as I would have liked, but I tried to just match sort of who do I think of the actors I can recall, who do I think could match the energy and match the performance. Some of them I thought about whether they look like it or not. I kind of just like, who are the actors I can remember and can they fit in this movie? So
honestly, like, I don't know if you guys have done this, but I know for the recast we've done where we started talking about it, and I think of someone that I didn't even write down. So I feel like that's going to come a lot too. Where it's like, even if we have someone written down, we may just go with someone else completely different, because like, oh, I hadn't even thought about that person until right now. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes, especially with our chaos rules that we're going with.
Yeah. I'm curious to see who gets pissed.
All right. So for the listeners out there, the chaos theory that we mentioned just now is, once an actor is taken for any role, they're off the board. They cannot be recast in a different role. So if Ben casts Tom Holland as Mr. White, I tried to pick someone that I don't think you would have cast.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Then I then can't cast him as Joe Cabot.
It's a blast from the past.
Okay. You gotta go.
I tried to pick ones that I didn't think we'd actually pick Tom Holland for.
I like the idea of Tom Holland as Joe. Just like, who didn't leave a tip?
So yeah, once Tom's taken for any role, he's off the board, and so on and so forth. We haven't picked the order yet. Ben's gonna do that right now. He's got a randomizer pulled up. He's got all our names entered in, and we'll see who's gonna pick first.
For the first time, I have someone here to verify, or we did for the rom-coms too. So I have like someone to vouch that I'm not cheating. So yeah, just to go over it real quick, the order, it's not the snake draft like the movie draft. It's going to go more like, consecutive or whatever. I can't think of the right word, but like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next person, pick number 2, will start first. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, or 3, 4, 1, 2, that kind of thing. So we'll go through it each round. So the order is, okay. God damn it. Number 1 is our guest.
Yeah.
It's me.
The expert.
Me. Number 2 is our host, Tyler Beck. Number 3, Matthew Eiler.
Yes.
Sheriff of Pleasant Grove. And I'm bringing up the rear.
I mean,
So yeah.
the double picks, man. I you got to be happy about the double picks.
Well, but we're not doing the snake draft. Like I just go last.
You'll
And
go
Oh,
then-
first
that's
next
right.
time.
Yeah, you'll get a number one
Next
pick.
round.
No, so I'm clearly not explaining this.
No, you. So Mr. Pink, you get the first pick for Mr. Pink. You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
be
So I have
happy
first
about
pick
that.
for Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nice.
You're
guy
gonna
Eddie.
take my
No,
guy.
Joe
I already
Cabot.
know. You're gonna take my Mr. Pink. I already know it. I'm mad at
excited.
you already.
Cool.
Well, we
I
got
love
that
it.
figured out, and I think we kind of know what's going on. So
Let's party.
I'm like really excited to get this started now. I was nervous before because I was having trouble filling out my draft, but now I'm excited. So let's do this.
Okay.
MVP, tell us who's your Mr. White for your.
Who's the
Reservoir
Harvey
Dogs.
Keitel role?
That's
Just for those
right.
listening
Oh,
who
yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember.
I forget not everyone's looking at the Google Doc here. Yeah, Mr. White, originally played by Harvey Keitel, and
Impersonated perfectly by Tyler.
oh
about
man,
20
I sure
minutes
did
ago.
nail it.
Yeah.
Cast
you probably
me.
thought we got Harvey on the episode, but it
Yeah,
was
no,
Tyler.
it was me.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if you take me as your number one pick, Ashley. So,
Well, okay. So I went with the true MVP, Gina Davis.
Wow.
I
Wow.
love it.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Coming out swinging.
Where's she been?
Yeah.
That is
I
a
love it. It's so good.
I
great
know.
question.
Bring her back.
Yeah.
We have recently watched A Long Kiss Goodnight
Ooh.
with Sam Jackson, and it's so good. She has amnesia. There's bombs. There's CIA. I mean, it's top notch. She can handle it.
And the
I've-
hairstyles even. They're great in that movie.
Mhm.
I'm looking at her IMDb because I know that I know her.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
Mhm.
Right,
Beetlejuice.
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 I'm
Don't
just
do
like,
Yeah, careful.
Come on.
What are you doing?
don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm having trouble picturing that one, but that doesn't mean anything because I'm an idiot and I can't think of things like this. So,
Yeah, I think it's great casting. I think
The
it's so
Fly.
good. Mhm. Yeah.
I trust you. Well, that means I get a pick. So, because
Sorry, I took her from you all.
no, that's
Cross her off my list now.
Oh.
you just ruined Mr. Orange for me. No, I'm kidding. Well, so because of the chaos rules, I actually wanted to cast this person for a different role. But I want to take them now so that I can take them at all. I need this person on my draft. I've become recently obsessed with him, especially after watching Animal Kingdom. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. I did want him for another role, but I'm going to take Ben Mendelsohn for my
You-
Mr. White.
I thought you were going to say Guy Pearce. I was going to
It would have been good. Would have
Guy
been
was
good.
floating around for me.
But Mendelsohn just has that brand of like,
That's
just
a great.
No,
I can
Middleton's
see
great
him.
pick.
I can see him being the leader of the squad. He's got that crazy to him. So yeah, I'll take Mendelsohn.
Mendelsohn could almost play any character on this list.
Well, I
Yeah,
had him
that's
for a
true.
couple other places, but I was like, I just need him on my list, so I'm taking him. Right?
Very versatile.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like
Great
that.
pick. Oh, okay. Forgot that Ben was last.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, this is going to surprise nobody. And it has everything to do with the coffee shop sketch on SNL. I'm going with Adam Driver.
Straight out the gate.
Mr.
Clearly a
White.
man in his 60s, the perfect
Mr.
cast.
Mr. White.
Straight out the gate.
Mr. White. Adam Driver. Yeah. If you want to challenge me on that, go watch The Coffee Shop.
Whoa, this coffee is from Burger King?
Well, damn, I guess I'll be going to Burger King a lot more often.
Hold the phone, brother, because I guess I just don't get it. You're telling me that I was just drinking a delicious cup of Domenico's new coffee with my new wife, then a bunch of puds walk out with burger coffee, and now you're telling me we were drinking BK Joe the whole time? I'm sorry, I guess I just don't get it.
Well, you actually do get it because that's exactly what just happened.
Always on brand.
No, it's great. I had him down for the Mr. Orange role because I think similar to Black Klansman being the cop, that's like not quite the cop. I think it could have fit
Yeah.
really
Oh,
well,
yeah.
but
I had him for Mr. Blonde. I had him.
that's a good one too.
I wanted to see him dance around and do some torture stuff.
Okay. I am going to stick. Okay, so well, I'm not going to talk about it because you guys can pick them later, but this is the third person on my list that I had thought about, but I think I'm also going to join you down under, and I'm going to draft Hugh Jackman as Mr. White.
Interesting. I like it.
I think he could pull it off.
My only regret about Mendelsohn is I feel like Mr. White is a little bit nicer than when I picture Mendelsohn. I picture him a little more menacing, and I feel like Mr. White was like seemed like kind of nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you are coming off of Animal Kingdom, so
true. But it's just I don't know. But so I like that. I like that pick.
Hugh Jackman's a good pick.
Yeah,
I think it could be a good I don't know, mix it up. He's played Wolverine. He's not always like the good guy, but I don't know that we've ever seen him just be like inherently. I don't know. I guess Mr. White's not even evil. He's just a bad guy that you're rooting for. So I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun
like
to
The Greatest
see
Showman.
that role. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going with Hugh.
I like it.
Who's next?
So
one more. That's 2 strikes.
Wow. So I'm glad I get to go to first on Mr. Orange because I had the most trouble with him. I don't really know why. So I'm just gonna take the first person I thought of. I'm gonna stick true to my instinct. I'm gonna take from Succession fame Jeremy Strong.
Oh,
Okay.
Because they look. I feel like they just look so similar. And yeah, I don't know.
Kendall, right?
Yep,
L
that's
to
Kendall.
the OG. Yes.
Really?
I've only seen one season of Succession, and when I looked at Tim Roth, a picture, I'm like, oh, he looks like the guy from Succession. So that's where I got to
think
go
that's
with it.
good. I think he could play both sides of being the undercover cop, where you believe him in the heist, but you also all the practice montages and stuff. Yeah.
Everyone's spread pretty thin.
It's not fucking good enough. You're fucking me here. I'm making good faith fucking assessments to my father, and you're making me look like a hack, and I will not have it. Stop sucking each other off back here and get fucking on it. You pour the shit I'm pouring on you, on your fucking minions, and you ride them. I don't care. 24 hours, rolling shifts, crack the fucking whip. Everything you're doing is fucking bullshit, and I'm very disappointed in you. I swear to God, I will fucking fire you if you keep monkeying around. Put the fucking snacks away. I don't want to fucking hear it!
That's really good. I like that.
I don't know. It's it's the pick I was most afraid of. I feel like it's my weakest pick, but I'm glad I got to go first. So I don't think any of you would have taken Jeremy Strong in any role, but I'm just glad he was still there. Yeah. And now I kind of want to take my other pick, but I'm not going to. I had 2 names written down. I'll tell you later.
Until Matt says something, I guess you're still on the clock.
You guys, my heart is beating so fast. This really is chaos. I'm so nervous. I'm sweating.
It's so much fun, though.
I love it. Before we decided, I was like, it's fine. If I don't get him for that role, I'll put him somewhere else. So when this came up, I was like, yeah, let's throw a wrench in it. Let's go.
Because I wouldn't have taken Mendelsohn for Mr. White otherwise.
Yeah. You got to do it.
But I like it.
Mr. Orange is the one I had the most picks for.
Oh, interesting.
I have 4 great picks for him, but I have to pick one. And so I'm going to go with my number 1 choice, the Lakeith Stanfield.
Nice. Oh, that's a great pick.
That is a good pick.
I had him for, what did I have him down for? Oh, for the Buscemi role. I thought he could have played kind of paranoid like that too. But I think it's great for Orange.
Yeah, I had him in my mind, not his name, just his face. I couldn't remember his name. Like we've explained, I'm dumb. But for whatever reason, I couldn't put him in a role. But yeah, I think you're right. I do like him as Mr. Orange.
No, he's in Sorry to Bother You.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Who watched that recently? It was on
It was
the
me.
recents on Vudu.
I was
Okay.
trying to. I fell asleep during it, and I woke up in the middle of a really great part. I'm like, I got to stop this. I
That's
need
where
to
he's
watch
the telemarketer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see it
so
before,
good.
Matt, or was it
No,
the
this
first
is
watch?
the first watch. I was loving it.
Oh, okay.
I just
I
started
was
way
about
too
to say
late.
something, but I was like, wait, I don't know if he's actually seen it before or not. So
I am curious to read your review on Letterboxd.
yes,
Need to finish it.
he's great in that. But okay. It's funny. I'm looking through these. I'm like, I like all my third selections on these, but all right, for Mr. Orange, what am I gonna do?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go again with my fuck.
You got this.
Sorry, I don't know what to do. I was like, I also like all of my picks in here, and I don't know which one to go with.
Who would you want to see Hugh cradle as they take their last breaths?
All right. Okay. I like that. I'm going with Stephen Yeun, who people may have
Okay.
seen most recently in Minari.
I like it.
Okay.
Also on The Walking Dead, I believe.
Also,
Yeah.
sorry to bother you.
Shit, that is
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
I'm trying to think of what else he's in. He's in Burning.
He's the voice of Mark in Invincible. If you watch Invincible.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I think he could pass as like a cop. Like if we saw him practicing, we're like, oh yeah, that's definitely a cop. But in the suit, like dying on the floor, it's like, yeah, of course that guy was like committed to this for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to cast someone that can pass as a nerdy undercover like rookie cop and then also a guy who would rob a jewelry store.
Yes.
They have
That's good. I mean, yeah, I think it's one of the great things about Reservoir Dogs is like until we know it's Tim Roth, I think we all are kind of wondering like,
Yeah.
well, who is it? You know,
Mhm.
that's the great thing about all those castings. So yeah. All right, cool. Stephen Yeun, I feel good about it.
I mean, Succession brought up some things for me that I may have swayed me.
Oh,
dang.
But
Brian Cox says, Mr.
Orange. Oh God, I just can't not see him peeing his pants.
That's so bad.
You know he does.
Oh yeah,
he does
it's my
that.
favorite. It's like, man,
Okay, I picked. All right, I thought about Nicholas Braun after you brought up Succession, but I think I'm going to go with my original pick and go with Joe Keery, who
Stranger
Stranger
Things,
Things.
like little
Mhm.
Ben Schwartz.
Little Ben Schwartz.
Little Ben
yeah.
Schwartz.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right,
Like crazy hair, like the
Yeah.
big, almost like pompadour.
Yeah.
I like that.
all right.
Mhm.
I feel like they
I'll
cast
allow
him
it.
and stuff to seem really young, but I don't know that. Like,
Yeah.
I think he could play this like a rookie cop really
Mhm.
well.
Well, and I haven't seen it. I can't remember what it's called, but he plays like a kind of influencer person, and like he goes on this. Am I thinking of two different movies? Or he's an Uber driver. Yeah, he does Uber and
Oh,
like
yeah.
you know.
No, I know. Yeah, what you're.
I sound like fucking Steve Buscemi in 30 Rock.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
But you know what I mean, right? What's it called?
Is it the Spree one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. He's born in 92. He's 29 years old. Like, but I feel like they have him playing high schoolers and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. he can
29
do,
going
but-
on 16.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of ages, I looked them up. Steve Buscemi was 35 when this came out. He was my age.
Wow.
It's kind of nuts.
I think
And
Tim
he's-
Roth was 29 or 31, like around there.
Yeah, they were young.
Makes me feel old.
All right, Matt.
Mr. Blonde. This was my hardest one.
See, this was my easiest one.
And I have the guy that's like, I don't know. Someone help me.
Tom, get in here.
Tom, I need you to choose this one for me.
Wake up. Help me.
Okay, you know, I'm gonna stick to my strategy. I'm going box office. I'm going mainstream.
Oh, no.
I'm going Daniel Craig.
Ooh.
Taking
Okay.
Daniel Craig.
I could see that for sure.
All right.
He'd be awesome in that role. I was, trying to go with someone that I felt would not give in to, the pressure or whatever when they're all coming down. Like, where have you been? And he's just cool as a cucumber.
Nobody's got a clue what happened to Mr. Blue?
Either he's alive or he's dead, or the cops got him, or they don't.
I was really trying to visualize someone that could do the little Steelers wheel dance, before they cut off someone's ear. And I think my Mr. Blonde is Miss Atomic Blonde, Charlize Theron.
Oh, I love it.
I think that's who I want cutting off someone's ear.
I really was trying to figure out a way to get her in my draft as well. And I don't know why I couldn't find a character for her. I think this one's hard because these characters are so iconic for me.
Yeah.
That it's it's hard for me to not just find the one that looks most like them. Cause I really feel like they're all perfect. And she's too beautiful to be in a movie like this. I mean, you know what I mean?
I don't disagree.
But she is a badass completely.
Unless you get her back in that makeup chair and
monster,
turn her into a monster. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
No, she's shown that side of her in Old Guard too.
Yep. Yeah.
She can.
I think that's a lot of what I was visualizing.
Cut people up.
I honestly didn't even think about the Atomic Blonde connection, so I was like, "Oh wait, she was in that." But I think she shows her cool, all time. Like she doesn't ever seem flustered. Even though they're not great, her and the Fast and Furious movies is that same kind of thing where she feels like she's in charge. So, Charlize is my Mrs. Blonde.
I love it.
Ms. Blonde.
Ms. Blonde. Who have you got for Mr. Blonde?
Is it me?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
Well, I just, I don't want my person to get stolen. So, okay, originally, I envisioned Neve Campbell for this role because, again, where's she been? But also, I've been rewatching Grey's Anatomy and Gina Davis and Neve Campbell.
I see where this is going. We're seeing
every one of your castings had appeared on Grey's Anatomy.
There's no Mr. Grey on here.
Okay, so Neve Campbell, she's quiet and I thought that she could kind of he's pretty mellow for the whole movie except for that one torture scene.
Right.
And you would never expect it from Neve.
True.
Never.
Hey!
My crush more.
But the more I thought Sandra Oh, who's in Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. Nice. That's your Mr. Blonde?
So are you just taking Grey's Anatomy?
There goes my
Matt's whole strategy is over now.
No one else in my cast is in on it, so I'm done after that. But I don't know, she's so good in Killing Eve. Mm-hmm. And there's that one weird scene where Mr. Blonde has to tussle with nice guy Eddie. And so I cast her based on who I've cast for Nice Guy Eddie because I think their chemistry would work the best.
Cool.
I like their pairing. So
yeah. Okay.
I like that.
I like it.
That's good.
I would have never come up with that in a million years. I haven't seen Killing Eve, so that probably doesn't help. So I went for this one is one that I was straight up lookalike, but I also have always thought this person had a little bit of crazy eye. And it makes me happy to be able to put them in a role where they can actually be crazy. But I want Vince Vaughn here.
Mm-hmm.
I want a big old Vince Vaughn dancing around because I feel like
that's great.
His goofiness would be really fun for the torture scene. He would add a little extra air of I don't know, goofiness, like I said.
Yeah,
and I just every role I've ever seen him in, I'm like, there looks like something crazy behind those eyes, man. He looks a little unhinged. So, take my boy Vince.
Yeah, he seems out of the four of ours, the one that I can visualize just immediately, doing that dance. And maybe it is because they look so similar, but it's I can see Vince Vaughn doing that back in 94.
He was the first
92,
one I thought of, like, for this whole recast. Like, oh yeah, Vince Vaughn is my Mr. Blonde.
Nice. I think I was so bummed about going forth because Mr. Pink is the one that I have like the hardest time nailing down. So I wanted to see where you all were going. So being first, I'm not.
Well, I will tell you, since he's already off the board, Mendelsohn was he was my second pick for Mr. Pink. That's the role I actually want him in, but I had, like I said, I had to have him. So.
I think if I liked him better as an actor, I was going to take, my first thought was Jay Baruchel.
Okay.
But he's always just like, I don't know. I just don't see him having the crazy side to him. Like he's just like, I don't know. He always seems like
he's mumbly.
Yeah. He's not like weird, quote unquote, but that having been said, I also think I want to switch around maybe who I had as my number one. I think after watching his show and knowing he could pull off that kind of vibe, I'm gonna go with Bill Hader as my Mr. Pink.
I like that.
I think he could give the Buscemi kind of performance of like the unhinged, but yeah, you're also like, yeah, he'll probably shoot Mr. White right now because he knows he's not, the rat. So
yeah, Bill Hader's another one that I've had. He's on a few of mine. He's deep on a few of my lists.
Yeah, I had him for Mr. Brown initially, the Quentin role, because I could just see him doing that whole monologue at the opening.
He was my number two.
I was like, oh, Bill Hader would nail this, but
I think
I don't know.
He'd be a good Mr.
hard to fill those shoes, like that the kind of actor he is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to hear what you guys pick.
I think Hader would have been a good Mr. Orange as well. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, if he played it, if he plays it straight or whatever, I think that works
Mm-hmm.
great. But yeah, I'm hoping he channels, a little bit of the neurotic side, but also the Barry serial killer gun for hire side.
Oh, we've got the MVP up. That's right.
I'm thinking.
We're going to do the 10-second shot clock countdown.
No, I got it.
You're going to give her the Giannis count?
Original pick.
Yeah, give her the Giannis.
Keke Palmer. I'm sorry to this man.
Okay. Whoa. All right. I like where this is going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to this man.
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
I've only cast one other guy that's left. I think after seeing Black Widow, I'm just like, I like the female energy into this.
Yeah.
I
don't
know if I know Keke Palmer. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I like it. I approve.
Good. Yeah.
The host approves.
Thumbs up from Tyler.
Nice.
We'll see if we approve of your pick.
That is true. We will see. So like I said, I originally had Mendelsohn penciled in, but I actually
no more rhyming.
Oh damn it. I was trying to think of a rhyme real quick, but I'm obviously not a freestyle rapper. So I actually watched that opening scene, around the diner, because I was like, that has all the characters in it to like remind me of kind of who they were. And as I was watching Buscemi, I realized that it was Donald Glover for me. His mannerisms, like the way I could just like an amalgamation of like his character in Atlanta and the way he played Lando, you know what I mean? Like I was sort of mixed them in my head. Like it was the way he was moving his hands and his mannerisms and the way he was delivering the lines. I'm like, oh, this is Donald Glover. Like I could totally see it. He's, much more handsome than our boy Buscemi. In a classical way, but
it's almost like putting Abed's head inside Troy.
Yeah,
it's like kind of the neurotic side.
Yeah,
just like put them together and put a gun in their hands.
But like, Mr. Pink is actually like he's actually kind of like cool in the way, not he's not quite as neurotic from what I remember. You know what I mean?
He's honestly like one of the most rational out of everyone as far as like, like
he's like fairly straight.
He's
just like an asshole, and he looks weird.
Yeah,
you know.
He's like, let's just get out of here. Like,
and I think Donald, my boy Dong Lover, he can pull that off. But I did have another person I was considering putting in there after Ben said something like you said what happened. Conversation sparked a thought for me. So, but I'll pencil that guy in somewhere else.
Okay.
Or girl. Not going to take my cards that much.
Well, I could not get this guy out of my mind. From Good Time, I'm taking
Minogue.
Bob Pattinson.
Oh, nice.
As Mr. Pink. Super paranoid 100% of the time.
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah, it really is kind of bring the Good Time character over. Just that chaos after the heist and everything.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so we're halfway through.
That's right.
Let's do a recap of who we've got so far.
Okay.
So far, I've got Gina Davis, Joe Curie, Sandra Oh, and Keke Palmer.
I've got Ben Mendelsohn, Jeremy Strong, Vince Vaughn, and Donald Glover.
Okay, I like it.
I'm pretty happy with mine so far.
I've got Adam Driver, Lakeith Stanfield, Daniel Craig, and Robert Pattinson.
I like it.
Dang.
Heavy hitters. It's a box office draw right
Yeah.
there. I have Hugh Jackman, Stephen Yeun, Charlize Theron, and Bill Hader.
I love it.
Wow. Those are some mixed nuts.
Unsung gem right there.
Yes, it is.
Please check out our episode on mixed nuts.
Please do. Yes.
You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
And also the episode with Travis from Let the Movie Speak.
All right. So Mr. Blue. Who do you have for Mr. Blue MVP?
For Mr. Blue, I have the one, the only, wickedly talented.
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only
Leslie Jones.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I really thought you were going to Dina Menzel there for a second.
I originally was thinking about her for Joe, but I just don't know if the vibe, it just wasn't quite right.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of her in a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Blue would be a good place for her to dip her toe in.
Okay.
I think it's a great role because, there's not a ton of speaking parts. So even if it's not great, it's not distracting necessarily. Like it's pretty, I think he says like 4 lines for the whole movie.
Yeah,
so
he doesn't say much.
Just kind of someone that looks like they've lived through some shit.
Yeah.
Well,
do we ever see him outside the diner?
I don't think so. Well, when they do like
a flashback. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the walking stuff.
Sort of like they all get their code names.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I guess that's it though. Huh. Yeah, I think that'd be fun to see Leslie Jones.
Yeah. Well, on the speaking of looking like you've been through some shit, the first person that popped in my head, and I actually don't know. I think I am going to take him just because I like him, and I think it might make Ben mad. I want to take Danny Trejo.
God,
I want to put my boy Danny in there.
Motherfucker.
I actually wasn't going to do it until I saw your face, and I was like, "Ooh, I know this." Okay,
I know who Ben's gonna pick.
I got to take him.
I mean, it hit that face.
And who looks more like they'd be in a diamond heist? Although, like, he almost looks too much like
I know
like a diamond heist.
Yeah, if you want to pick someone else,
he's getting arrested on the way in.
Him. I like Danny.
Yeah,
and also like we shouldn't stereotype. I'm sorry, Danny. You're not a.
True.
I don't think you're a diamond thief just by the way you look. But you also only get cast for certain roles for a certain reason. So I don't know, man. It is unfair, but I do love him, and I feel like he fits perfectly. So,
yes.
Who do you got, Matt?
I have. This is another one where I feel like I have a few good options, but I'll just stick with the number one, Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay. I like it. I know the name. I got to look at his face real quick.
Yeah, who is that?
He's the bad guy from
yeah,
Doctor
yeah.
Strange. Hypocrite. It's like the weird
Oh,
eyes.
yeah.
He was also in that Another Round movie.
Yes.
That one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's definitely got that like evil eye, that cold stare down.
Stone faced, lived
Mhm.
through way too much crap.
He might be a little young for the way that I picture Mr. Blue, but
That's not the criteria.
Fair enough.
Your
Fair
I'm
enough.
not casting your movie, Tyler. I'm not
true.
casting your movie. Oh, sorry. I thought it was my pick, Tyler.
Nope. We clearly stated that I have to approve all of the picks. No, I think it's great. I just, like I said, when I looked at all the characters, my mind just goes exactly or straight to like who looks the most like or is the closest to as far as like age or whatever. But no, Mads Mikkelsen's great. I approve, Matt.
What are you gonna do now?
I don't know. I feel like I'm dipping into my Joe Cabot people now. Because I honestly had Danny Trejo. I had a couple other people when I started thinking about authors. I thought about Stephen King because he kind of has like a weathered face. He's not going to talk a lot. Like, he could, I don't know, maybe that'd be interesting. But I think I'm going to switch it up and I'm still going to keep a weathered face in there. And I'm going to do the person that graced us with the excellence that is Laura Dern. I'm going to take Bruce Dern.
Ooh,
okay.
As Mr. Blue.
Okay.
He's like, I don't know if anybody here has seen Nebraska.
I have.
I think he's great in that.
It's great. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
A lot.
Yeah, and he
Hateful Eight, right?
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that pick a lot.
I think he'd fit there.
I like it way more than Matt's pick.
He's old enough. Yeah, he's old enough.
Yeah, I'm all about the age criteria.
But when you said Mads, the first thing I thought of was Stellan Skarsgård. I think he could be kind of cool as that too. But yeah, I know I'm happy with Bruce. I like Bruce in that role.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Thank you, Laura.
So
thanks for
on to
borrow your
Mr.
dad.
Brown. Yeah,
the Tarantino role.
Yeah, so I'm glad I got to go first on this one because I literally wrote down one person. I couldn't think of anyone. The way that Quentin does his own work is so specific.
Hence, like a virgin.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I watched the diner scene and I just was like, who would I want to see deliver this monologue? And granted, I do believe this person will put a different spin on it, but that's okay. I'm going to take Jonah Hill. It's the only person I could think of. And I want to see him rattle off that Madonna dialogue.
Driving me fucking crazy, man.
I love it. Was that who you wanted for Mr. Brown?
I had him down in the Chris Penn role for Nice Day.
I did too.
That
He's
makes
in my
sense.
list.
Yeah.
I thought he could work there.
I think I actually did put him in there too. Now I think about it.
And Matt would have got him if we all left it. So either way, I'm mad.
But he was my number one, so that's all right.
Okay, well, who's your number one? Mr. Brown. Who's your number one, number two?
Oh,
Am I
man.
right? Mr. Brown.
I have to go.
This is a scatological free zone.
Yeah.
Forgot to run it by you first.
Yeah.
Just joke. Okay.
Guys.
Okay. I was going to go one way, but I'm catching on to Ashley's energy is contagious.
That's true.
And speaking of the Madonna monologue, I'm gonna have to go with Margot Robbie.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I love it. I love it.
Approved, Matt, by the way. The age matches up for me.
Okay.
I love Margot.
Thanks, Tyler.
I know you were on pins and needles.
I was.
waiting to
I was
hear.
like, oh.
Yeah. I could see it in your face.
Silence.
She's great. Do you have a favorite role of hers, Matt?
I do. I really like her Harley Quinn, but I loved her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She was really good in that too.
She's a gem, man. I mean, for me,
Have
it's
you guys
always.
seen I, Tonya?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Well, you know what? If you can come up with $5,000 for a costume for me, then I won't have to make one. Till then, just stay out of my face.
Maybe you're just not as good as you think. Maybe you should pick another sport.
Suck my dick.
That's wild. She's so good.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Fuzz.
No, it's great. I mean, I was just gonna say, I can. For me, it's just her debut role as far as we're all concerned, or I'm concerned, in The Wolf of Wall Street. That's like all I can think of. I mean, not all I can think of, but that's always the first one that pops in my head. But yeah, she is like, I swear she was born to be Harley Quinn. Like they couldn't have possibly cast someone. I mean, maybe they could have. Maybe we'll do a Harley Quinn recast at some point, but she's so good in that. And yeah, I, Tonya, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Have I told the story about the bar that they found, the crowbar that they hit Nancy Kerrigan with is in Portland?
What?
There's a bar that's their claim to fame. It's called the oh shoot, I can't remember the name of it right now. But
it's not called the Crowbar.
It's not called the Crowbar. But on the menu they have this whole story about how they found the crowbar and the notes. Like they had written down notes like hit knee with crowbar or whatever. I don't know. But like
I want to go.
Jeez, they found it in their dumpster. And then that's their claim to fame.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
Come up. I'll take you.
Okay.
So my first thought with this Mr. Brown was I wanted to be literal and just cast another director in that role. So I thought about Taika.
That was my first thought too.
Fun to like listen to him give that whole, the Madonna speech, all that kind of stuff. Having said that, I'm not going to cast him. Who I really want to listen to tell that story. And I think this is the role that's maybe a little more neurotic like Tarantino is than Mr. Orange. And I want to see Awkwafina do it.
Okay.
So she would be my Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
I want to hear her talking about the Like a Virgin story. It's just like, as we were rewatching, I was like, oh, I could see her like capturing a table, with that story. So
yeah,
that's who I'm going with. Awkwafina.
Okay.
I like it.
I like it too.
A little young for the role, but I'll let it slide.
Thank you. I mean, I was going to protest after you let Adam Driver go through as Mr. White. I feel like I could draft an infant and it would count.
Shots fired. I like it.
Well, I also went with someone from the music biz.
Do tell.
Post Malone.
What?
Oh, man.
That's awesome. Are we just saying people now? Are we just saying people we like now?
Look, I am saying I see an untapped potential with him.
I mean,
like it's a small enough role. It's low pressure.
It's true.
It's kind of funny. I think he could do it. And
yeah.
I originally wanted him for Mr. Orange, but I think he can't do it. That's too much for him.
Not with a lot of makeup too.
Yeah, it's too much.
I mean, the man has talents that are somewhat hidden. Have you seen his like acoustic covers on YouTube and stuff? Like he covers some Dylan songs and the whole Nirvana set he did from his living room or whatever.
Yeah, so
like,
we watched that, right?
Yeah, the dude's talented. I'm not saying he can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I never would have thought of it. But
maybe he's the Will Smith of our generation. We just don't know it yet.
Maybe
Will Smith didn't have to cuss in his raps to sell records, but Post Malone does.
That's true.
Just put him in everything Will Smith.
Oh God, Men in Black with Post Malone.
That would actually be good.
It'd be fun.
It'd be a little more difficult to buy him as an athlete and but
yeah, that's true.
It would be funny.
But he
to watch him and
hit
Tommy
a home
Lee.
run with Wild Wild West.
He really would. Oh, and Kevin Kline back in that role too. Just bring him back.
All right, are we on to Nice Guy Eddie here?
We are.
Okay. Is Matt first this time?
Nice Guy Matt.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna go with going with Michael Cera here. Nice Guy Eddie.
Okay. I mean, the tracksuits from This Is the End. Yeah. I could see it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about us doing the recast, and I think maybe you're just being sensitive to time, is that you just say who it is and you don't give us any reason why. You're like, Michael Cera, next. Like, I'm not explaining this at all. It's like, you get Michael Cera and nothing else.
He's got the voice. He's got the face. You know,
he does.
And he was like wearing that same kind of windbreaker in the beginning of This Is the End, that 80s track jacket thing. So
are we just going to say things that I said now?
Yep. Yep. I'm cutting out what you said earlier. I'm putting just my comment
man, you're
in there.
in control here. You edit these things, so that's
yes.
that's your prerogative. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but I am going to tell you how to draft. Keep your ages relevant.
So my choice for this one is I thought I'd be funny because this role is famously played by Chris Penn, who is like the less good version of Sean Penn.
Okay.
So I was thinking, who's the less good version of something that's good? And I was like, that reminds me of Logan Marshall Green, who's not quite Tom Hardy. like, let's not get the good one. Let's just get the other one.
Okay.
So I was kind of thinking about Logan Marshall Green, but I've changed it up now.
Oh, okay.
I just want to tell that
Josh
story.
Gad.
The person, I honestly am not super sure how well it fits, but I just want him in my movie. I think he can play funny. I hope. I'm going with Daniel Kaluuya.
Okay.
That's who I want as my nice guy Eddie. I hope he can play kind of, I don't know, maybe is Chris Penn too jovial or something? Like what's his...
So Daniel Kaluuya can do it.
That character?
Did you see the Moms sketch on Saturday Night Live with Daniel Kaluuya?
I don't know if I did.
I have not.
Daniel Kaluuya's got this. That's a great pick.
He's a talented fella. I was trying to find a way to put him in my draft somewhere. I couldn't figure out a way to do it. I don't think I would put him as my nice guy Eddie, but again,
yeah,
it's your draft.
And I guess I'm picturing
I think he
him
could do it.
Yeah.
Matched up with Steven Yeun, you know, like when they're kind of giving each other shit. And then like when Charlize comes out, you know, and it's like, oh, like you'd never rat. I don't know. I could see him maybe the more serious stuff and hopefully pull off the funny stuff. So I'm going with, we need an Oscar winner on my team. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Natasha Lyonne.
Okay.
That's a great awesome pick.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Edie.
I like that. Nice gal Edie.
I don't know. I want her in the mix. I just mostly kind of pick people I want to hang out with. I think,
that's
really,
fair.
too.
Yeah,
I guess my only criticism of that is she's so tiny. It'd be hard to buy her as like the muscle or whatever he's supposed to be. You know, he seems to be just kind of like, from what I remember, he's Joe Cabot's son, right?
Yeah.
So he's just kind of like the big lug that they just kind of throw into the mix to be big and whatever. But,
so if you're small, Tyler's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
That's right. Bring it on.
Small folk out there.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm also small, so.
Yeah, no, I like that point, but I also think maybe it could play really well where if people are clearly intimidated by her.
True.
Like you're maybe even more intimidated by her than you would be a big person. It's like, oh, these people respect her. So either she can do stuff or she knows people who can do stuff. So that could be kind of interesting. I think the lightness of the personality matches for sure, like the humor and everything.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Well, I criticize you by casting someone who I don't think you'd necessarily be afraid of, by following it up by casting someone who I don't necessarily think you'd be afraid of. But
Paul Rubens.
Pee Wee Herman.
Natasha was in Pee Wee, did you know?
I did not know.
Wait, was she really? That's pretty
Was
cool.
she in Grey's Anatomy?
No.
she probably auditioned for it, right? I'm sure
Probably,
everyone did
especially
at some
wasn't,
point.
honestly.
Kiki Palmer was.
So this guy came up when Ben was talking about someone else. I can't remember who. And I didn't have him written down. I had a few other people, but I'm going to take Pete Davidson here.
That's a good one.
I don't know that he's going to necessarily look like who I end up picking as Joe Cabot, but I think he could be funny. I think he's got a big presence. I think he's believable as only being a part of the crew because of being
Big
someone's
energy.
son. Well, he's just like a big guy. You know what I mean? Like he's got a big presence on screen. And he's got the tattoos. People are afraid of tattoos. I don't know. He looks like someone who might make questionable decisions and be a criminal. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Here I
and
go,
would like get away
typecasting
with
again.
shit.
Yeah.
Because his dad's the boss.
Right. Yeah, he looks like the kind of kid that just gets away with everything, and yeah, So
Nepotism.
yeah,
I like that.
Pete Davidson.
Okay, Joe Cabot. When we were talking earlier, and I was joking about Brian Cox, like, oh, he might be actually a good Joe, but I'm sticking with my original pick.
He would be good.
Partly because of box office name recognition. Not that we don't all have name recognized people, but even when we were rewatching, it's like, oh, I can see De Niro being a great Joe Cabot.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's not for discussion. You can't trade. Like, you're Mr. Brown, you're Mr. Pink. That's it. Like, like, why didn't you tip? Like, I just see the gruff side of De Niro, kind of channeling the old, Heat, whatever, like the old movies like that when you were really intimidated by him. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with De Niro as my Joe Cabot.
I like it. He's a way better father for my Pete Davidson than who I'm going to hopefully end up picking, but
Paul Rubens.
Pee Wee Herman.
I don't know if I believe that Robert De Niro is Daniel Kaluuya's dad, though.
Are they? Oh, well, whatever. Adopted. Let's be progressive.
It's 2021, Ashley.
Sorry, cut that out.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Canceled. It's canceled over here.
Oh my God.
We'll post your apology with this episode.
Yeah, I'll get in my notes app right now.
Personal email.
Dear Dan.
WatchPartyMVP.ahutchins@.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to close it out with boss lady Ellen Barkin. Sorry, guys. Cross her off the list.
Crossed off.
What part did she play in Grey's Anatomy?
She was not in Grey's Anatomy.
But she is in the TV adaptation of Animal Kingdom, so that's fun.
Exactly.
Okay.
Smurf.
I don't know her very well.
I wouldn't cross her.
So I'll have to take your word for it.
And okay, here's the thing. It might be an issue because I looked up pictures of her recently, and she went to the Harvey Weinstein trials to support her friend. So I don't know if she would be down since Quentin pals with Harvey.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite possible. I mean, Tarantino's, I guess, tried to distance himself. Like any money that's being made from the Weinstein films are going, I thought, to the Me Too Foundation.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about it, but I don't have enough details.
Because he said, I knew more than I should, which is, shitty. It's not an excuse by any means, but I was like, at least, I don't know, maybe I'm just being an apologist because I like Tarantino so much. I'm at least he's doing something by any money I'm going to make off of the stuff he did. I don't want it, that kind of a thing. So,
I mean,
it's a small thing, but yeah, I totally understand.
About to bring it down. Sorry, guys.
Anyways, thanks for listening. See you guys next week as we watch Antichrist. Pick it up a little bit.
All right. Well, moving right along. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't want to gloss over that, but I just don't have anything to add to it. So I'm going to go. I feel like we're doing a Tarantino redraft. There's a certain person who I feel like just deserves to be in any Quentin Tarantino movie. They seem synonymous to me. I feel like his age is appropriate now. I'm gonna put Sam Jackson in as Joe Cabot.
I already started saying that. It's maybe we should trade. That'd be a good Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, that'd be much. Our family connections there are backwards, but again, he could, it could be adopted. It could be not.
Maybe they got switched at the hospital.
Classic.
This is a baby swap movie now.
Maybe
they're trying to steal each other's baby.
Maybe it's not really his son, but he just calls him his son. That sort of thing. We could rewrite it.
Yeah, I like it.
Well,
did you write Samuel L. Chang on the dock there?
Oh yeah, I figured you guys can see this. Yeah.
If it isn't my old partner, Samuel L. Chang.
Agent Michael Scarn, you lost some weight.
Thank you for noticing.
I always think about that in The Office. Samuel L. Chang.
I can't remember who was being interviewed, but it was for a Tarantino movie, and they asked them how it was working with Samuel L. Jackson, and they're like, "Oh, it was awesome! He's awesome." And it took me 2 weeks to stop calling him Samuel L. Jackson to his face, And you finally had to say, like, you don't need to call me Samuel Jackson.
Sorry, Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, what would, like, I don't know. Yeah, what would you call, like, Mr. Jackson, I guess? Like,
if you're nasty.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're getting a little loopy over here.
Good.
Samuel Jackson's a great pick. I had written down Lawrence Fishburne for this role.
Ooh.
I like that. Is that who you're taking?
I like it too.
That's who I'm taking. That's who I'm
Nice.
taking. I'm taking Lawrence Fishburne.
Nice.
I don't know how. Again, I don't know how he's Michael Cera's dad, but
He knows.
we've established. Yeah,
He knows. You want to ask him, Tyler? You want to ask him?
Yeah, excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is your draft. So your turn.
Guys, we've been over this. I think we've covered it. I don't know. I think we're an hour and a half into this, so
Perfect.
it's perfect.
Somehow we did Ocean's 11 in the same amount of time. 14 people.
Yeah, I think
Dang.
for like, I don't know. There's we had a lot to say.
I mean, Matt specifically, like we were trying to get him just to stop talking after every pitch. Like we get it.
I
We
tried to
picked him,
keep it
okay.
as short as possible. I'm sorry.
Well, next time if you could truncate yourself just a little bit for time,
We'll have to get those picks over to Tyler first too, so we can approve them.
Yeah.
'cause we don't
Yeah,
have
next
to
time
do
let's
that
run our
again.
picks by me first.
Let's
I guess I
vet
just
them.
didn't look at Tyler's rules before we did this.
Yeah, I
I
forgot.
didn't see those.
Yeah.
Should have read through them.
All right. Well, Ashley, thank you. MVP gracing us with your presence.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Ben
It's
gets you all the
always
time.
a fun time.
We only get you in doses. And we really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And for those out there listening or watching, yeah. Well, well, if you're, how would I turn listening into watching without the inning?
You did it.
Anyways, if you're listening, if you're watching, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you found us,
Listening.
Listen.
if you're listening to the podcast on your headphones,
Going off the rails here.
yeah, it's getting late. I apologize, but thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends. Tell us what you think about the episodes, whether this one or any other ones, on Twitter, Instagram. Check out the shop on 3filmspod.com. Soon to be revamped. More details on that coming up. And
Sneak peeks look great.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll sign off from here. Thanks, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
That was the Partridge Family's Doesn't Somebody Want to Be Wanted, followed by Edison Lighthouse's Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes, as K. Billy's super sounds of the 70s weekend just keeps on trucking.